I do not know how these celebrities do this. This light is so hot. Woo! What's up, guys? It's Grace, and I'm here to break down the whole entire process of a surrogate. And then at the end of my video, I will tell you where I am in my journey. So I'm gonna talk to you like you're the surrogate, that you're the one applying, and I'm also gonna break it down to you the way that it was broken down to me by my agency. Now, a little disclaimer, I'm not a surrogacy professional. I don't work for an agency, but I'm just telling you what I know. So I'm gonna be reading them off my little iPad here. And I'm gonna tell you everything in 4 phases. So let's start with phase 1, the application phase. So first, before even applying, you go online and research surrogacy agencies. You wanna make sure that you find one that's either local in your state, or you wanna find one that you'd be able to travel to, because sometimes for interviews and stuff like that, you might have to travel out of state. So if that works for your schedule, then that's okay too. Second thing before applying is look on the website of the agency that you've chosen and see the list of requirements. There's a whole entire laundry list of things that the surrogacy agency wants their surrogates to have. So things like no drug and alcohol abuse, preferably no history of depression, a certain BMI, you have to be 21 years of age at least for most agencies, and then you have to have already had your own child, at least one. So if you look through the whole list and it seems like you've got these qualities and met the requirements, then you find the application and apply online. So this application is kind of like a job application. It asks all kinds of questions about you. Some applications want you to upload photos of yourself just to kind of get to know you and why you want to do this. And after you've submitted your application and if it's been accepted, then you have a follow-up phone call. So a case manager over at the agency will give you a call and kind of go through the questions a little bit more in depth that you answered in your application. So they want to get to know you more. They want to dot their T's, cross their I's. Wait, you know what I mean. And they want to make sure that you are ready to go and you are really super seriously interested in being a surrogate. So then after your follow-up phone call, they will send you a follow-up email. So in this email, I got a long application. This application was probably 5 pages or so. And again, it was all the questions that I had answered and then more questions that they wanted me to answer in depth. Also, I got medical release forms. So these forms are for the surrogate to take to their OBGYN and also to the hospital that they delivered their previous baby or babies at. And these forms allow the doctors to send over your records from prenatal, postnatal appointments, and your labor and delivery. They send those records over to the agency, and then the doctor at the agency there will check you off and clear you or not clear you, whatever. So if the doctor at the agency has cleared you and your doctor has said, yep, she's good to go, she can be a surrogate, then you have an interview scheduled with your case manager. They get to know you just a little bit more as if they didn't know you enough already. And they also want to know what you are expecting from this experience so that they can kind of build a profile for intended parents and they can kind of match you guys up, but that's coming later. You'll get a background check and then you'll be scheduled to have a psychological screening. So the psychological screening is where you see the 47th doctor through this whole process. You talk to them about you, they ask you about your history of depression, history of anything psychological. They just want to make sure that you're not psycho and you're not trying to do this for all the wrong reasons and that you're not going to walk off with this baby and pretend like you didn't know what was going on. Then after you've been cleared by that doctor, you can move on to phase 2, the matching process. So the surrogacy agency is going to put together a profile on you, the surrogate. And in this profile, it'll talk about what you do, what your family does, all about your life. They put pictures in there that you send in, they air your dirty laundry, all that good stuff, and then they send it off to the intended parents. And they flip through profiles like a little phone book, and if they find you and they like you, then your agency will send you their profile. So you guys kind of have the scoop on each other, and if you guys like each other, then they'll set you up to meet. So depending on where you are in relation to your IP family, you'll meet either in person or on the phone, on a Skype call, anything so that you guys can get to know each other face to face, hopefully, And if you guys like each other then they will move forward with the process. Now, it's really super important at both of these last two steps to make sure that you are honest with your agency. If there's a little thing that's off, anything that you guys really don't agree on, especially if it's a big thing, tell your agency that you're not vibing with the IPs, because you don't want to go through this process with someone that you don't actually really like. Because obviously it's emotional, it's very personal, and you don't want to be stuck with someone that you think is a total weirdo. After that, you guys love each other, then you go to the IVF clinic that they are working with. So a lot of times this clinic is super far away from you, but they will pay for travel expenses, so you don't have to worry about that. But you will get a whole physical over at their clinic. So they'll do blood tests and ultrasounds and make sure that your body is ready to be pregnant and you're okay to go. A lot of times this appointment takes like a whole entire hour. So it's really extensive and thorough, and they want to make sure that you're ready to be pregnant. If the medical screening goes well and you're finally checked off by the 647,000th doctor that you've seen by this point, then you get to move on to the contract. So in the contract, you write what you want to get out of this experience. The intended parents say what they want to get out of this experience. You talk about whether you're going to have contact after the baby is born, and you talk about things like, you know, I won't compromise this, and I can compromise that. And IPs can say, I want my surrogate to eat this kind of diet, you know, I want them to exercise, whatever. You get that all written out in the contract. With my agency, also at this point, life insurance is purchased for the surrogate by the IP family. How nice is that? Also, both sides are appointed with attorneys. So you don't have to worry about legal representation. They will appoint you a lawyer, and there'll be a legal representation behind you the whole time. Then you move on to phase 3, the medical phase. So surrogates, listen up. You have to be comfortable with giving yourself injections. Yeah, guys, shots. And you have to remember that a needle is not as bad as the pain of labor and delivery. And it's totally, totally worth it. No, it's not exciting. It's painful still, but you know, if you compare the two, a needle is not so bad. So some IVF clinics allow the surrogate to do hormones through oral administration. Sometimes they do suppositories, they do creams, but most of the time you have to do a shot. You're gonna have to do shots in your stomach, maybe in your leg, in your butt, on your head. No, just kidding, not in your head. But really, guys, you have to be comfortable with giving yourself shots. So these shots are hormones, and they are to sync your cycle with the egg donor cycle, so that the time that they take the egg out of the egg donor and put the egg inside of you is a shortened time. And also they want to make sure that your body is ready to receive a baby, because you know, you don't just stick an embryo in there and your body's like, you know what, I think I'm gonna make this into a baby. Through the whole process of getting your cycle synced, you'll have regular blood tests and ultrasounds just to make sure that the lining in your uterus is thickening and that everything is going the way it's supposed to go. Then once your cycle is good to go, your uterus is prepped, then you can go on to transfer day. So this is the day that you go to the IVF clinic and they put the embryo inside of you. Typically the procedure takes maybe like 30 minutes or so, but then the doctor will have you lay in the bed for maybe half an hour to an hour more, and then you go home and you're on bed rest for the rest of the day or a couple more days. So after transfer day, you get to move on to phase 4, hopefully, which is the pregnancy phase. So they do your pregnancy confirmation through a blood test. They test for the hormone, the HCG hormone, which is the hormone produced in pregnancy. Could I say the word hormone one more time? They check to make sure that this hormone is pregnant. What? They check to make sure that HCG is pregnant. Oh my gosh, is present. Oh my goodness gracious. So they'll do a blood test to make sure that the HCG hormone is present in your blood. And if it is, then they'll do another test a couple days later to make sure that the hormone is increasing. And then again to make sure it keeps increasing. And if so, then your pregnancy is deemed viable. And after a few weeks, then they do a confirmation through ultrasound. They make sure that there's a heartbeat. And if so, then you finally get to graduate to your OBGYN. So up to this point, you've been working with the IVF clinic through all the medical phase and everything like that. So you finally get to go to your own OBGYN, which is hopefully close to you. Then at 14 to 20 weeks, parental rights are established. So here in Colorado, parental rights can be established while the baby is still in utero. So that means that it eliminates all the horror stories of the surrogate peacing out from the hospital and taking the baby with them. If you try to do that after you've established parental rights and given them to the IP family, then you're going straight into handcuffs from the hospital, because legally it is not yours anymore. At 14 to 20 weeks, you give the parental rights to the IP family, and they are legally the parents of the child inside of you. Isn't that cool? Then finally, after you've gone through this whole process, I'm sure you're ready to have the baby out, and you get to go through labor and delivery. You get to give the baby to the intended parent family, and they get to go home. So your job is done, and the intended parent family's job starts. You've given them a life, you've gone through all the hormones and all the emotions and everything, and this is where the process ends. And by now it's determined in the contract whether you're going to have contact with the IPs and the baby or not. So that's up to you to decide, but hopefully you'll get to have pictures and updates at least, so you know where your little surro baby is and what they're up to. So where am I in the process? I've had so many people ask me, Grace, are you pregnant yet? And no, I am not. I'm actually at the very, very beginning of this. So I hope that I'm not jinxing everything by telling you guys so soon what's going on. But I have just been checked off medically by the doctors at the surrogacy agency. I scheduled my interview, and I scheduled my psychological screening. So that's what's next for me. I'm still in phase 1, the very end of phase 1, and then hopefully I will begin to be matched here soon. So that's all I have for the information for you guys. I'm gonna do an FAQ video next. So if I didn't answer your question that you had, put it down in the comments down below or message me. I have read everybody's questions and comments and everything that you've already asked me. We've had some good questions, you guys. So hopefully that will be the last video where I'm just sitting down and talking to you, and then we'll get started in my actual journey. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, stay connected on social media, and I will see you next week. Bye.